Hola y bienvenidos a la Oso Archives. Me llamo Shannon. Yo pasé 4 semanas en Antigua Guatemala. Yo estudié español en una escuela se llamaba Maximón y yo viví con una familia guatemalteca. Yo sé que mi español es mucho mejor y yo tengo más confianza y mi habilidad para hablar el idioma. Yo estudié mucho, pero también tuve diversión. Yo visité muchos lugares, incluyendo el de Volcán, Lago de Atitlán, muchos museos y 3 pueblos mayas. Antigua Guatemala es una ciudad muy segura y está llena de cultura, historia y gente amable. Disfruta el video y por favor te gusta y suscríbete. Gracias. Okay, so this is the school where we have Spanish lessons every day. So lessons, we have private lessons, 5 hours of private lessons a day. Over here is where we can get coffee and tea as much as we like. So of course I go for the coffee. Still going through, this is another courtyard area. So we have 3 hours of classes in the morning and then a break for lunch, and then we have 2 hours of classes in the evening. So this is the courtyard. It's very nice and spacious. So it's really nice to sit out here and take classes. Also in each of these classrooms here and upstairs, there's more classrooms, but I really prefer sitting outside. So this is where I normally sit with my teacher. It's just very relaxing and peaceful. Also, if we go down over here, of course the fountain, and then there's a little area down here where you can kind of sit and just have quiet time there. Now on the 2nd floor of the school, this is the view. So you can see several volcanoes. Then the upper level overlooks the courtyard where all the classes are typically held, unless it's raining. And of course, when it's raining, we go inside to the inner classrooms. Now onto the homestay. Out of respect for the family's privacy, I'm not gonna show pictures of the actual home itself. Not that I was worried about the homestay, but when I was planning the trip, that was the part of the trip that I was most hesitant about going through with, I guess. There were options to do a hotel or apartment, but I figured I would get a better experience in Spanish immersion if I stayed with the Guatemalan family. And now I am so glad that I did that. And if you are considering doing a homestay with a local family in Guatemala or any other country, I would say go for it. My family was extremely welcoming and supportive, helpful, and all the accommodations were wonderful. The family only spoke Spanish with me, so that really helped build my confidence, and they would help me every step of the way if I was struggling. My family also had a really cute little puppy, and she became my best friend in the house. I was provided 2 meals a day, breakfast and dinner. Meals were a mix of traditional Guatemalan food and just regular American food too. As more of a picky eater, I can say that all the meals were excellent. My host family owned a coffee farm, so here this particular day the dad had laid out all these coffee beans in the front yard and he was laying them out there to dry in the sun. So he was just explaining to me part of the process.
El grano se pone muy suave.
Muy suave.
Muy...
Soft?
Sí.
Sí.
Son tipas los que lo han mandado y me lo quieren que yo lo juzgue. Mas ustedes que están presentes aquí en mi palacio.
No gracias, no gracias. So these are decorative carpets, which are called alfombras in Espanol, and they are made out of colored sawdust, and it takes the people hours, if not days, to design these intricate patterns. And normally, along with the alfombras, there are several parades and ceremonies that occur throughout Semana Santa or Holy Week. But due to COVID, things were kind of cut short and cut down a little bit just for safety. So right now I am in front of an old ruins, which I believe might be a church or a convent. I'm not quite sure. But just a little bit more history about Antigua. All of the ruins and streets and everything are kept up and managed by the government because this is a World Heritage Site. So things have to stay as they were 100 years ago. This is the courtyard area of a very famous hotel in Antigua, which is called Hotel Casa Santo Domingo. And it's a hotel, but also a series of museums. There's a spa, restaurant, a pool, just a little bit of everything. But this is the outdoor courtyard. As you can see, the view is beautiful. There's also ruins of an old convent and an old church that used to be on this property. But fun fact about this hotel is that former President Bill Clinton actually stayed at this hotel when he was in Guatemala to meet with the presidents of the Central American countries. There you go. So this is the arch here in Antigua. It's the main staple that people come to Antigua, Guatemala to see. So it's really just an arch. In the inside, apparently there are steps, which they say were used by the nuns to walk back and forth across the street without being seen by the men. So that's kind of the story behind it. But apparently there's steps in there, but nobody can get inside. So it's just a cool piece of history. So in there was first university in Central America, but it seems to be kind of like the same architecture that I've seen at previous churches and things like that. So I just decided just to pop in and take a picture and then step back out versus going into the museums. This is me roasting a marshmallow on a stick using the hot lava fire rocks that were at the base of the volcano. It was extremely hot, and just a little bit that I was standing there, my face started to feel like it was burning. This is a video of Pacaya volcano, and you can see the red lava coming down from the top of the volcano all the way down to the bottom. And the reason why there's so much smoke in the air is because the lava and the hot rocks that are down there release different gases into the air, and that's what's causing the pictures to be a little bit blurry. These are some coffee plants that we saw on the way to the volcano. We also saw a few cows along the way too. I'm doing stuff a little bit differently, and I'm gonna go to a coffee shop that I've always wanted to go to that's very close to my home. It just looks really fancy, and I've always seen a lot of people going in and out, so I want to take the opportunity to try it out for myself. I'm so glad I came here. So today I actually have an exam in my Spanish class, so I have to talk to my instructor and I have to tell her 2 stories in Spanish. These are my wonderful Spanish teachers, Sandra y Alma. Our Spanish classes were very, very interactive. There's never a dull moment, and I truly felt like the instructors catered their lessons towards my learning style and my language knowledge. My morning classes are over, and I scored 100% on my Spanish test. So, en Español, I scored 100 sobre 100, and that just shows that my hard work has been paying off, and the teachers here are great. So big props to them for taking the time, being patient with me as I've learned these past few weeks. The one thing I love about all the restaurants here is that they all have a courtyard. So on the outside it looks like it's a regular building, but once you walk inside the restaurant, it opens up and it's open air seating on the inside. So that is really nice. Gracias. Hasta luego. And Cafe Condesa has the best tiramisu in Antigua Guatemala, hands down. Normally I'm back in the house by 6 o'clock in the evening, but today I decided to go to dinner at a steakhouse that's called Nin Fa, and they had really good steak. I had steak, mashed potatoes, and tres leches cake. Good morning, everyone. It is 5 o'clock, 5:30 here in Antigua, Guatemala. Today, I am going to the famous lake, which is called Lake Atitlán or Lago de Atitlán. I'm walking up now to the street so I can wait for the bus, and we'll be on our way. So the ride is about 2.5, 3 hours or so, depending on traffic. And then the tour, I think, is about 3 hours. And yeah, I'm just excited to see if the lake is worth all the hype that people have been talking about it. So we'll see. Okay, now we're in the lake town. Panajachel is the name of the town. That's the tour guide in front of me. It's so beautiful. And this is a lake, this is not an ocean. The first stop on the trip was to a little town called San Juan. Our first stop in San Juan was to a little home where the local Mayan women weave textiles and make cotton and things that they use to weave different products such as clothing, dresses, and tableware and things like that. So you were able to watch the young woman go through the entire process. She started with the raw cotton, which is white and also comes in a brown color as well. And she twisted it into a single thread. And then once that was done, she dyed it into natural coloring that is made from various plants and fruits and insects.
Entre más tiempo que vayamos a dejar acá en el tinte, vamos sacando un color muy oscuro y entre menos tiempo.
The whole process was very interesting, and she told us that the tradition and the way that they make these textiles, the process has been the same for years and years. This little car that we're riding in is called a tuk-tuk, and it is basically like a taxi in Guatemala. So they're everywhere. They come in different colors. The ones on the lake were red, but the ones in Antigua are white and blue. I think the tuk-tuks are cute, but also a little scary. No. Next up, we toured a Mayan bee farm. So they had like 6 or 7 different types of bees, and they showed us the different types of bees and then all these different products that are made with the honey.
En cambio, en nuestro país, entonces, no sé si ustedes van a almorzar, no ahora. Lo que vamos a hacer, si van a almorzar, hagan el pedido mientras ellos...
Now we're in the next town. This is just a really cool door to a museum, actually. And our guide said it took like 6 people to carve that door. This is the outside of the church that we visited. And the church has 20 steps because it was originally a Mayan church. And the Mayan calendar has 20 months in the calendar. This church was built in the 1500s, and like I said, was originally only a Mayan church, but now it is both a Mayan church and a Catholic church under the same roof. And fun fact, as we walked up to the church, there was actually a wedding going on. So what you're seeing now is the bride and groom leaving the church after their marriage. And weddings here are a big deal, and there's fireworks and there's week-long celebration. So this part of the tour was very interesting. This statue that you're looking at is the Mayan deity called Maximón, and he is a god in the Mayan religion. This figure is kept in the private residence of a Mayan family, and it can never be left alone. So there's always going to be at least one person in the room with the figure. Also, the figure is cooked for, it's given food, and clothes are washed frequently. And every year it is voted on in the community which family will get to host Maximón for the next year. Okay everyone, so this is my last Sunday in Antigua. So I'm just gonna kind of take an easy, relaxed day today. Since I went to the lake yesterday, I'm just gonna kind of walk around the city, maybe walk down to the opposite end of the city where I haven't been yet, just to see what's around town. Probably go get a latte, of course. Feels like it's at least 80 degrees out today, but normally what happens is it'll be warm during the daytime, and then around 4 or 5 o'clock it'll start raining. So I didn't bring my rain jacket because I plan on getting back to the house well before it gets cloudy, but we'll see. It's an adventure every day here in Antigua. Wow. So 50-cent ice cream cones are my favorite kind of ice cream cones. All right, so as I finish up my video, I just want to share a few tips with you all about some things you should know if you're considering travel to Antigua Guatemala. So first tip would be make sure that you have sunscreen and bug spray, because the sun is super bright here and there are a lot of mosquitoes. My second tip is make sure that you exchange enough money into the currency here, which is called quetzal, because when I came here I did not exchange enough money and I found myself having to go back to the bank several times, which is fine, but when you do that, because the exchange rate is different, you're losing money. So if you can just do one lump sum, that'll save you a few dollars in the end. I think Guatemala is a great place to travel and learn Spanish, just because the people here speak very slowly and they enunciate their words very well. So that was what made it a lot easier for me to understand what was being said and be able to respond. I did have a little bit of hesitation in the beginning when speaking, but being immersed in the culture like I have been these past 4 weeks, it really gets you out of your box, out of your shell, and you will really pick up the language more than you even think that you will. So just jump in, don't be nervous, have confidence. I truly hope that you all have enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed my experience and my time in Antigua, Guatemala. I hope to come back one day, hopefully, and do some kind of medical Spanish immersion program or a medical volunteer internship type program. But that'll be a few years from now, so we'll see what happens. But thank you all for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. If you have any further questions, just leave a comment below or send me an email, and I will absolutely get back to you. But thank you for watching and stay tuned for future videos.